I guess as a kid I was drawn to it. I was always one of those guys didn't know what he wanted to do. Like I wanted to be a rock star when I was a teenager, you know.
I think there's more people that want to be comics than there's been in a long time. Comics are now the new rock and roll performer.
You put a lot of time into a joke and you put all your efforts into, you know, one tag for one bit and it works and people die laughing. That feels great.
If you're doing stand-up, it's something that you feel like you have to do.
And I loved it because I'm making the older kids laugh now and they're cool. So I can get with the cool kids by making them laugh. Oh my God, I found what I want to do for the rest of my life. This is it.
When you break down comedians, you know, a lot of times you'll hear, oh, well, they were made fun of as a kid, and then comedy was their defense mechanism, and that's how they survived, and that's how they were witty. Maybe they weren't really attractive, and whatever weird thing about them helped them hone this biting wit. And now apply that to Buffalo.
A backwards, snow belt, blue collar, wrestling is real. Cold, snow, losers.
I think there is a Buffalo state of mind. It's kind of I think it's a feisty pioneer spirit, and in some sense, we're kind of used to being considered second-class citizens behind New York City or other cities in New York.
We're right here in downtown Buffalo, New York, right by the Niagara River. Here is Buffalo. There is Canada. That's the Peace Bridge that bridges these two land masses together. We're at the edge of America right here. Over there, the abyss. They call it Canada.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the United States and Canadian national anthems.
Oh, Canada, oh, say, our home and native land, can you see? To patriot love by the dawn's in all thy sons come and early light with their glowing hearts, o'er the ramparts we see thee rise at the twilight's last gleaming, the true north strong and free, and the rockets from far and wide, the bombs bursting in. Oh, Canada, keep rule through the night, we stand on guard for thee, that our flag would still wave. Keep our land, oh, say of that glorious and free star-spangled, oh, Canada banner, yet wave. We stand on guard for thee, for the land, oh, Canada, on the we stand free, on guard and the home of the brave. Let's get the game going.
So Buffalo was still vibrant in the sense of you know, retail, downtown. I can remember going shopping with my mother. All of the department stores downtown at that time were active and busy.
This is Buffalo, the second largest city in New York State. Strategically located at the eastern end of Lake Erie, it early was given the title of the Queen City of the Lakes. Buffalo is a bustling community and serves as the hub of the Niagara frontier. Its dynamic development results from an unusual diversity of industry.
And then the city changed for a number of reasons. You know, the steel industry started to decline because of the emergence of Japanese and German steel. And then there was a big migration to the suburbs, and you know, the growth of the suburbs around Buffalo changed the population density. And then I remember the malls starting to spring up around the city, and that kind of killed the retail downtown.
Oh man, I missed this shit so much though. It was so amazing. The Buffalo was known for nationally, we're known for snow, the Bills and chicken wings, racism, and Rick James.
The butt of the jokes forever. You know, I mean, that's just a thing. If Buffalo has been a punchline since the 70s, if not, you know, as soon as the jobs started leaving and the snow started happening, it became a punchline.
You know, like if you're from Buffalo, you can shit on Buffalo. If you're not, you can't. It's sort of like our N-word, you know? You can get away with it if you're one of us. Are you not from Buffalo? No, no. You're not, are you? That's why, see? Because you can't, yeah. Like Buffalo is a thing that you're born and raised and bred into, and you know what I mean? And people outside of Buffalo, you don't get it. And you can kindly leave. No.
Yeah, the Buffalo comedy scene right now is looking really good to me. It's very reminiscent of Chicago in 2005 when I first started watching comedy. It feels like it's a place where people are able to experiment and really explore some of the nuances of comedy and without fear.
Real talk, guys. What are you supposed to do to respond when you learn that somebody jerks off to your Facebook pictures?
The room is really warm. I feel like myself and my regular host, Tyrone McLoughlin, have created a very welcoming, safe place for people to explore their weirdness and not feel shunned, and also safe for like women and, you know, gay people and like black people. And it's like we're trying to make sure that everybody who wants to do comedy can just do comedy and not have to worry about, like, you know, someone give them shit about it, basically.
Buffalo audience is very thick-skinned. They can handle a lot of truth because it's a blue-collar town, and I think with being lower middle class for the majority of us and all having labor jobs and blue-collar jobs and factory jobs and, you know, being subjected to the cold, I think that toughens you up. I looked in the mirror the other day, found out I'm balding, so I got a bandana, problem solved, right? Went to the doctors, found out I got herpes. So I got a bandana, problem solved.
Doing comedy here and doing comedy in a bigger city is like a runner who runs with weights and you go to a different city and you're able to take those weights off because it's hard to get a laugh here.
I think Buffalo audiences, for the most part, are blue-collar, hardworking people, and they want to come out and have a good time, you know? Typically there's a lot of alcohol involved, which is good until a tipping point, and then the audience is like, oh, they're too drunk. Nope, they all want to be a part of the show now. That's not good, okay.
I haven't seen him. No, I had to leave that night. You didn't know nothing. All right. Where's the cameraman? Oh, right there. All right.
This is for him and his dog.
Sweet.
Buffalo audience, much like Chicago audiences, they're down to earth, they're real fucking people. They're not all fake and bullshit like LA.
But right now I think the tone it's very tough. It's very thick-skinned. It's very honest.
It's pretty white in here. Yeah. It's pretty, look, now I don't want to stoke shit, but I watch CNN all the time, and like, according to the graphics and the pie charts that I've seen, at least one of you guys has shot a black person for no fucking reason.
Everybody's offended by something. And comedians are out here going, you know what? Yeah, we're all offended by it, and fuck you. And I think that was the statement that really dragged me out. I wanted to get on a stage and just speak truth the way I see it to people and try and dull it down. Like, as a society, everybody kind of needs to stop with the negativity, stop with the crutches that, oh, woe is me nonsense. Everybody's got a crutch. Everybody's got something they can fall back on and be offended by. Stop, I think is a big statement right now. Don't be offended by everything. Laugh. Once you can laugh at the negative, once you can laugh at anything, it makes it better.
Yeah, I spent years in that kind of relationship with fucking douchebags who like to get drunk, punch you in the face. It's terrible. Not a good way to live. But I'm not in that relationship anymore. Now I'm with a guy who likes to get drunk and play Star Wars. It's like a whole other fucking story. He's a giant 200-and-something pound dork, my husband. But I'll gladly go home after a night of comedy and find him in the kitchen playing fucking X-Wing with these assholes.
It starts with the honesty, man. It starts with knowing yourself. You know what I mean? So.
What kind of material do you think they tend to favor?
I wouldn't say it epitomizes. I mean, there's still the favorite. It's still national. You know, dick jokes.
I feel like I shouldn't have to wash my hands after I take a piss. Now, I know that sounds gross, people, but bear with me on this logic here right now. My hands are out all day. They're touching everything. My dick barely gets to touch anything unless it's an amazing day. I should wash my dick after it touches my hands.
Not to insult the town I live in, but you know, they're not super intellectual.
First of all, you have to get ready to hear like poop and rape, right? Like that's just and boogers and like those are just, and I think it's because comedy is so personal and so vulnerable, and a lot of people defer back to when they remember getting their first laugh. And they're usually somewhere between 6 and 13 when that happens, which means that when you step on stage in this really vulnerable thing, you default back to what's comfortable, and it's usually something you said when you were, you know, between 6 and 13.
There was a guy here locally, I don't know if I want to shit on him and mention his name, but he wouldn't allow me to do cancer stuff on my stage because he claimed that there were audience members who have had cancer. And then I said, well, yeah, and one of your comics has too. But he was so terrified of the theme that he forbid me to do it. So I wouldn't work for him. You know, it's like it's such a taboo thing.
But we have a couple of rules. One, no cancer jokes. Absolutely no cancer jokes and no C word. Reason being is, now there's some guys that have very, very funny cancer stuff, but we don't let them perform here because they don't care about the audience, they care about themselves. And at some point when you mature as a performer, you got to care about that audience. And there is not a person that comes to this club that has not been touched by cancer. You don't know who's here to forget about their problems. So when somebody comes up to me after the show and they go, we really needed a laugh, you feel like, wow, you know what, I just gave you a prescription for something that you really needed. And I owe it to them to give them a safe comedy club.
Like when you say cancer on stage, I'm guessing some of your assholes tightened. Just immediately in the room, you're just like, can't. It's just a weird subject, you know? Nobody is very comfortable with it. It's just a weird, weird thing. And when you're going through it, it's even more weird. Like people are super weird to you. Like your friends of years and years treat you differently. Like one of my best friends growing up visited me during it, and I lost like 30 pounds. I didn't have a stitch of hair on my body. I mean nothing. I mean like no eyelashes, no nothing. I looked like powder, you know? And this guy's like coming over, and he brought me a book. And like when your friend, like your guy friend brings you a book, like it's completely, like here, I brought you this book. And I'm like, cool, I'm dying for sure. I'm definitely gonna die now. I'm definitely gonna die. This book says I'm dead. Thanks for my book. This is a moment, and now I'm gonna die. That's it. I'm dying. It's horrible. But the worst is when people look you in the face and they say, hey, you look great. Hey, how are you doing? Because you look like that, you know, like you look like a baby mouse is what you look like. You know what I mean? That's what you look like. You look like a newborn mouse. You're like, you look great. Look great to what? A hungry python? Like, who are you looking good to? And it was just, they were just completely, like, people are terrified and they lie right to your face, and like there's just zero honesty in the whole thing. And then like my sister brought my nephews over to visit at one point. And like you could tell that she had rehearsed with them in the car. But then the one walked in, and he was, I guess, too young and like just too honest to embrace the whole thing because he just couldn't hang in there in character. Because he walked in, he saw me, and he was just like, ah! Ah! Oh no! His mom's all mad, shut up, Jenny! Ah! And I'm like, thank God. Yes, exactly. Thank you. You are absolutely right. I am frightening. I know this. I know I'm frightening. Look at my book. I'm dying. This is done. I get it. Absolutely.
I treat my open mic a lot of the time like a therapy session. I can't find a psychiatrist that I find faith in. They all seem to be dumber than me.
Yeah, like I said, I'm newer at this stuff, and you know, comedy's fun. It's great. It's been a confidence builder, and It lets me expand my creativity. And you know, you can say anything you fucking want up here. It's a beautiful art form. And it's only like the bounds of your imagination that you're limited to, which is a beautiful thing, yeah. Much like comic books. I was reading Spawn the other day, and the bad guy in Spawn, just a regular looking fucking dude, he's got a pacemaker. His heart's not good, but this is the bad guy, and you want him dead, but then you find out this pacemaker's an evil pacemaker. And when this guy dies, just nuclear explosions left and right. This one guy dies, millions of people die. That's ridiculous. And that makes me go back in my childhood when I was a history freak, and I would watch this show on the History Channel called Tactical to Practical. And they take crazy shit like GPS was only for the military. Now it's in your fucking phone. Whoa. So pacemakers, right? So I'm thinking about this guy's pacemaker, and what would I want it to do if I could have my pacemaker do anything, be really fucking cool, marketed some crazy way? When I die and my pacemaker goes off, I want it to clear my browser history on all my mobile devices. I think that's marketable. Anyway, that's all I wanted to do. My name is Angelo Corchimillion. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, you ready? Yeah. I've been expelled from 7 schools before I finally stopped getting expelled. I figured it out after 7 schools.
But, you know, I got to my 20s and stuff. My mother had passed away when I was 19, so I was kind of lost and like figuring out what you want to do in life. And as soon as I did stand up that first time, I knew. I walked out of that place floating, knowing this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life.
I mean, if you want to get really deep, I think every comedian has some sort of family. I think that their foundation is going to come from their very first interaction with human beings, which would be your family, where you fit in your family. And I think that that's, growing up, laughter was key. It was king in my household. My father was a very funny guy, told an amazing story, and just had a roarious laughter. It was contagious. So I always knew that was a serious currency. Laughter was a very serious currency. But at the same time, we all came from dysfunctional homes in one degree or another.
Yeah, I was a terribly obese child. I was dorky, you know, and I sort of made the joke before you can make the joke. And somehow they got me friends, and so I just rode with it, man, because I hated being stuffed in the lockers, having my rolly back kicked. I had asthma. I was just a dorky kid, and, you know, it was my escape.
You know, my name is Fat Man. If you want to get technical, I used to be 300 pounds. And when you're 300 pounds, you're taking pounds and pounds and hits and jokes from everybody your whole life. And you could either just ball up, or you could just be the elephant in the room. And when you in stand-up, you're the elephant in the room, but guess what? You're supposed to be the elephant in the room.
Motherfuckers always arguing about the Oscars. Black people can't play white roles all the time. White people can't play black people roles all the time. That's just how it go. Wit of Precious was in Star Wars. The Force is always with her. The bitch is gravity. For real though, for real.
Before you make fun of me, I don't make fun of myself. And you can't ever make fun of me funnier than I make fun of myself. And right there, that's a defensive mechanism. When I say I grew up where it's tough, that's defense.
So I wasn't particularly athletic. I wasn't the biggest guy. I wasn't the smartest, because I certainly didn't apply myself that way. So that was my in. I could make you laugh. A girl would like me, not by my looks, but once I made her laugh, I could find a little place in there, you know? And that's true today. I don't excel at clubs. I need a nice quiet pub to do my work. So.
And then once you do it the first time, you know, in my opinion. If you're any good, if you get one laugh, it's better than drugs. I mean, that's a lot of power. If you are not a teacher and you just go through life being that guy in the cubicle somewhere or girl, and then you get on stage, and even if there's only 20 people in the room, all those 20 people just shut up and they listen to your brilliance. And then they laugh. And you know, laughter's a spontaneous reaction. People don't plan to laugh. Laughter means I took something from you didn't even mean to give me. And that feels really powerful, right?
You know, like another thing about my mom, you know, when you're a kid
and adults would always try and spell words to keep you out they grown folks' conversations, right? Well, my mom wasn't that good of a speller at all. I remember one time she was on the phone with my grandma, and she was like, Mama, I don't think Ty's ready to find out that his granddad, I.S. dead. Like, really, Mom, that's the best you can do? Like, have some faith in your baby boy, right? Shit, I'm 17 years old. I'm on the merit roll. I think I've tackled IS. Like my cousin Dion, like I was 13, she was like 17, going on 18. And so she had all the cool friends, right? And so that we'd be at her house and they was drinking 40 bowls. But that malt liquor got you fucked up. And so they would be smoking weed and drinking, watching Def Comedy Jam. And so whenever it was about to come on or it went over in between the comics or something, I would crack jokes and they would laugh. The thing about like being in jail, I was in a dorm with 100 other people, and the one thing I found out about being in jail is that the prisoners every day at 7:30, they shut it down. They shut the prisons down every day at 7:30 for Jeopardy. Yeah, all right, 100 dudes in a room, not one college credit between any of them, shut it down for Jeopardy. And the way that they got these answers wrong, you just wouldn't believe. Like, one of the questions was, so Albert Einstein's famous equation on the theory of relativity was E equals MC hammer. What is MC hammer? And it was one dude, he just kept yelling out letters. Q, P, L-M-N-O-W. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? And so my boy tapped me and he was like, oh, he's kind of slow. He's still playing Wheel of Fortune. Because I wasn't athletic, tall, whatever, you know, mediocrely handsome, you know, and I hung with people and everybody was bigger, more chiseled and athletically gifted. And all I had was my wit and gift of gab. So I could make grown people laugh when I was just a kid. So I was like, you know what, this is what I'm good at. Like, to earn that cup of pissy ass beer when she poured it in, it was like gold coming out of that bottle, and then she gave it to me and like, good job. Like, I don't know, she was like my Mitzi Shore.
Who lives in Buffalo? I mean, right here on my street, we had, you know, my last name's Italian. My dad married an Irish woman. We had the Danforths, they were Irish. The Grecos, that was Italian. We had Polish people over here. We had a black family that lived down there, even though primarily the east side, there would be the divider, basically, which was Linwood Avenue. And then once the east side would begin, that was primarily African-American back then. I think you see a little more of a mix today, but back then it was pretty, the lines were pretty defined.
You know, South Buffalo was more where the Irish people are. I don't know where the Polish people went to. They're everywhere, maybe Kenmore, but Buffalo is a melting pot, but it's so segregated.
Buffalo is a racist fucking city. It's one of the racist cities in America, and it's sectionalized. Like, the blacks got this section, the Polish people got this section, the Italians got this section, and it's sort of handed to us as like a gift. Like, this is your gift to be racist, and it plays out, and it's so much material. My grandfather, he was a black man from the South. He escaped the South, and he always longed for that type of racism because he'd rather have somebody stab him in the front than stab him in the back.
I feel Buffalo is very racist.
I like to joke that Buffalo is so racist that sometimes people from the South vacation here in the summertime. Like, that's how racist and segregated it is in my city, and I'll represent my city into the day I die.
Why do I bring race into my comedy? Because race is an absurd concept. You know, my comedy isn't to cater to either race. Like, I want to make both white people, black people. I just want to make everybody uncomfortable. Like, I want them to leave my set thinking, you know, am I a racist or am I the oppressor? So I like to play with race. Race is a fun thing. It's a bullshit concept, and I want to bring that to light. You know, I want everybody to just, because every race laughs. So I want to draw that. I want to draw from that pool. That's where I'm at with that.
I want to play this old fuck this old house. I want to play this old pussy. I love me some old pussy. I like a late 60s, early 70s Victorian pussy with all the original fiction. That's the original clip. Oh, these are brick roll. Don't give me that Lowe's drywall pussy. Don't you gut it. Don't you touch a thing. All it needs is some young dick on this wall. It needs some young dick on that wall. It needs some young dick on that back wall. And that's the gazebo. These are the guts. All right, it needs some young dick on that thing. I like old pussy. I like pussy so old the birth certificate is offensive to read. Like under race, it says Negro. Under location of birth, it says color ward. Pussy, I like old pussy. Her father was a retired slave. That's the type of pussy I like. So don't you touch a thing. I'm Bruce Wilson.
In my mind, there's nothing in this world that's going to stop anybody who makes it out of Buffalo at that point. If you're willing to stand, leave your house, leave the comfort of your home, put real clothes on, go out at 10 o'clock on a Monday night and tell jokes to a room with 20 people in it, then you're going to get out in the real world, try and be an entertainer, and there's nothing that's going to stop you.
This is true. Since starting comedy, I have lost 107 pounds. Thank you. So if anyone was wondering just exactly how much a soul weighs,
you kind of have to be a little delusional to do comedy on any level, because the numbers, regardless of talent, are always astronomically against you in terms of making it.
LA is, everybody's trying to make it. Everybody and their brother are trying to make it. They want to be able to, I mean, a lot of comics out there that were all about showing their parents that they were wrong. Their only goal was to get on the Tonight Show or something, to get on TV so they could tell their parents, oh, you were wrong about. And then I would ask them, so okay, what's your plan after that? And they didn't have a fucking clue. They were just like, I didn't think about that. But getting on the fucking Tonight Show was, that was their only goal. And it was just like, why the fuck would you want to do that? I mean,
late 80s, maybe late 80s. And at the time, Pat Sajak had a late night talk show. I got booked on that. And that was going to be my first national big exposure. And they flew me down, and I got to the hotel. I got a note on the door to make sure that I contacted producers. I contacted the producers, and they were like, we're very sorry, but the show has been canceled. First felt bad for me. And then that soon went away, and I felt terrible for everyone that wanted me to be on. Everybody that was, by me getting on, I was giving sort of like happiness to all these people that were from Buffalo that saw me starting and were gonna get enjoyment out of seeing me do that, and I had to tell them all it wasn't gonna happen. And that was more depressing to me than me not getting it, was to come back, you know, with your bags in your hands and maybe there's a next time. It was a hard lesson to be able to smell it and never taste it.
To me, I'm not a TV comic. I don't plan on being on TV or a Tonight Show. My material isn't gonna get me there.
But I noticed something weird about my dog. It's got like 2 dicks that comes out of that dick pouch. Like, first off, I know I'm not the only guy who's ever seen his dog's dick before. If you own a male dog, you've seen his dick before. He's got like that Red Rocket lipstick dick that comes out. Then he's got like this mean, uncircumcised dick that comes out when he's excited. He's got to go out real bad. And we're like, whoa, whoa, we'll take you out. But I'm totally jealous. Wish he had a dick pouch that 2 dicks came out, right, guys? Like a little dick that came out to pee, then a big mean monster dick that came out to fuck. Like, brrr. Ladies would be like, yeah, give me that mean dick, yeah. 'Cause that's what y'all sound like, right, ladies? Yeah, give me that mean dick.
Our material is looking for a fan base that gets it. If you get it, great. If you don't, oh well, you know, leave then. I don't care. Put your head down. Wait for the next comic. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not in it to please the audience. You know, I'm up there having fun. If you're having fun, great. If you're not, then go fuck yourself. But you have a choice. You don't have to stay and watch it. It's like on TV, when people bitch about TV programs. Well, you can change the channel. You don't have to watch this shit.
Some comics got dick jokes. I got dog dick jokes.
For the experience, I wanted to be well-rounded. Some of the shit is bitter, and that just adds to the story. You know, I'll learn it, I'll experience it, and then I'll get on stage and report it to the people and try and make it funny.
My last girlfriend dumped me because of something I said on a comedy podcast. Something I said on a comedy podcast. The podcast had 6 listens. 6 listens! You know what that means? That means one of the listens was her, and the other 5 were me trying to figure out what the fuck I said wrong.
I had a podcast. We did 44 episodes.
I need to get fucking paid. Yeah. This shit ain't working out, man. I need to do a half hour, and people would be like, "You can't make us laugh in fucking 3 minutes. How the fuck are you gonna make us laugh in a half hour?" Right. Yeah. I got bills.
It's like everybody's got a podcast these days, and it's like, who's listening to these podcasts? I'm seeing people on Facebook that you know I knew in LA that were doing open mics, you know, 2 years after I was working there or whatever. And now they got podcasts, and everybody's got a podcast, and everybody, listen to my new podcast. Here's my new podcast. Here's my new podcast. And who's listening to these fucking podcasts? And talking to somebody and interviewing somebody about, you know, their hopes and aspirations of fucking comedy that's gonna take them or whatever. I mean, if it takes me here, then oh well. You know what I mean? It's you make a choice, and you got to live with your choices.
I think that when you're a comic, you are in desperate need of approval and in desperate need of love. And once you have that, once you have 300 people laugh at you and you feel the pressure of them and you feel their emotion, it's a high that you can't get anywhere else. And it's an amount of love that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that's why a lot of comics have drugs and have problems, because you go from this mass acceptance and all these people loving you to 45 minutes later you're in a hotel room in Nebraska and nobody knows you and you're a nobody and you got to live with yourself and you got to kind of go through that.
So if you guys don't know who I am by now, my name is John Miso and I have drug problems. I let all of my friends use all of my drugs, so I have no drugs. That's a fucking drug problem. Wow, you guys are really critical, man. Like, come on, give me a break.
I've definitely, I'm an addict. Yeah, man, I never met a drug that I didn't like. That's why I won't do heroin or acid, because I've never liked a drug that I just was like, no, that's not for me. No, fuck that, more. And so, as a teen, early 20s, I just jumped up and decided I wanted to sell crack one day. And so, I was doing good. I'm a personable guy. I had a great business model, a great customer service. I got there when I said I was gonna get there. So I was making some money selling crack, man. And so eventually, I tested it out, and I loved it. Whew! I loved it so much that I beat somebody's mom up over crack. And I could have went to jail for selling crack, smoking crack, and beating somebody with a shovel for crack. And hitting the dude with a car and stuff too, whatever. Another thing that happens, unfortunately, in Buffalo is, when you don't have much of a future to look forward to, like, after high school, where I'm from, like, honestly, okay, high school, and then what? So, she didn't know what was. She started, doing drugs, got heavy into drugs. They say in the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, jails, institutions, and death. And she got the last one. We all miss my cousin Dion.
There was a guy, he was a ventriloquist. One of the most famous, he did all of his stuff at my club. All of his CDs and DVDs were done at my club. This guy could have had the world by the balls. But the high of the shows and the amount of love and the amount of, when people want to buy something from you, at the end of the show you're selling merchandise. When people are in line to buy that from you and they want your autograph, you are here. And I remember I had to go to the radio, so I had to be at work at like 4:30 in the morning. So he calls me up and he goes, "Would you take me down to the projects?" And I go, "Why? I'm going to work, I don't have time." He goes, "Just take me to the projects." And he needed a fix of something that he was, I believe at the time it was probably meth. And I dropped him off on Kensington Avenue by the Kensington Projects. I was fed up, I'm like, go. And I could see in my rearview mirror him walking down Bailey Avenue towards the projects at 4:30 in the morning to look for drugs with the bag, with his dummy in the bag. That was his security blanket, was that dummy in the bag. And as I drove away, I saw this guy just searching for that feeling he had at 11 o'clock at night. You're not going to get it at 4:30 in the morning. But it's very easy to want to fill that soul with love. And you're never going to get it at 11 o'clock at night at the Marriott.
I feel happy for him. I want everybody to make it. There's a crowd for everybody. Yeah, and there's a lot of guys I've seen that I worked with that are on Comedy Central or on TV and stuff. And hey, great, go get them. And there's guys that sucked, and they either still suck or they got better. It all falls into the you keep on sucking until you don't.
I don't know. I need to lose weight because all my friends think I'm gonna die. Yeah. Why is that funny, man? Probably. No. Here's what happened. I had all my friends over. It was Super Bowl Sunday. We were watching the game. I go in the kitchen to grab some food and some beer. I ended up cracking my elbow on the counter when I was in there. So I walked in the room and I was like holding my left arm and I was like, oh. They're like, holy shit, this isn't a drill. We practice for this, everybody. Get to your stations. Like one buddy was calling 911. My other friend was like getting the baby aspirin he stored in my floorboards, My wife was setting up an eHarmony account already. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, there's just so many questions. I wanted a head start. I'm sorry.
People look at it now from an inward perspective and they're like, oh, Buffalo comedy is this and that. But nobody's talking about it outside of here yet, and that's what we should all be like striving to make happen, you know?
Either I need something big has to happen in order for a spotlight to come on Buffalo, or my ambition has to peter out. One of those two things is going to happen first. That was bleak.
My goal is to continue doing what I'm doing and build a fan base, and either that'll work or it won't, and if it doesn't, I'll work in a coffee shop and live at the beach, just like I'm doing right now, you know?
I want to be the kind of guy that when people go see comedy, they say, that guy's doing it. He's doing that thing. I want to do comedy at the highest level. Yeah, I want to be inspiring to people who care about comedy. That's really, I mean, that's a realistic goal for me, probably.
It's hard, but fucking regular job to me is harder. Go sit in an office or a warehouse or a factory all fucking day, staring at a guy next to you that's been there for fucking 40 years, thinking, God, I'm gonna be that guy fucking in 20 years. No thanks. So this is what I'm gonna do the rest of my life. Hook or crook, whatever. If I'm homeless underneath a bridge, standing in a milk crate, doing comedy for the bums, that's, you know, I'm gonna do it forever.
I also want to mention too, Tim Oshier wrote a beautiful story that is going to be in the Buffalo News tomorrow about my 5,000th show. And when you look at it, you will see a bunch of celebrities that I've worked with over the last 30 years. And I just want to let you know, when you look at the pictures, I fucked Bill Cosby. We do, just here at the club alone, we've raised almost $800,000 for local charities. That, to me, as I've grown up, I've realized that's the most important thing, is to be able to give back. And I can only give back in that size. If fame would have hit me, I would have been able to give back this size. And that's a feeling that I wish I could do.
Sometimes white people just piss me off. Y'all don't have to do anything to me personally. It's been done for centuries, and sometimes I just wake up mad about it. I've earned that, you know? I don't carry that around with me. I don't want to be an angry black man. That's what we're called. But sometimes I am. And I can own up to that. As long as, you know, some people own up to, like, you know, sometimes white people are just fucked up. And not like the big corporation white people. I mean the white motherfuckers that, the motherfucker that's running this camera and the motherfucker that's interviewing me. Sometimes y'all just fucked up. Like, y'all just own up to it. And then, you know, and that's a start. That's a start for me. Like, yeah. You know, we're white. We've ran this motherfucking whole planet since people started running the planet, and we fucked you. We fucked you hard, and sometimes we still do, and guess what? I benefit from it. What? And we like, wow, those were harsh words, but so true. This is what really pissed me off. Yeah, this cut is all over the place here. This is one thing that pisses me off. When somebody says that black people are lazy. Maybe we're just taking a break now since we helped build this motherfucking country for free. So, you know, if a nigga can't get a 15-minute break in life in America, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that at all. I just, you know, I just got angry. It happens. I don't have anything else to say. I think I might be worn out too. I think I'm a little worn out. Oh shit. Yeah.